You know now divergence theorem and how Gauss divergence theorem helps to calculate the electric field intensity at a point. So, what you have to do under such circumstance, how can you evaluate the electric field intensity at a point with respect to a charge? What to do? How to do? Suppose here is a charge, point charge, and you want to find out the intensity at this point, let us say P, which is a distance of r. Then how to evaluate the electric field intensity at that point, applying Gauss law or Gauss divergence theorem. Taking a what that sphere is called? What that sphere is called? Yes. So, you have to imagine a surface across that point, and usually it should be symmetric. That is a very important property to evaluate the electric field intensity at a point. The surface, Gaussian surface, must be symmetric with respect to the field, right. Either it is sphere or it is cylinder or it is plane, these three only, they are symmetric, right. So, the Gaussian surface cannot be having any shape to be symmetric, otherwise the Gauss law cannot be applied. The Gauss law can be applied only for the symmetric Gaussian surface, and for that only three surfaces are possible. One is sphere, second is the cylinder, and third is the plane, right. Then what to do? You have to imagine a Gaussian surface with same radius r around it, right. Then apply the Gauss law to calculate the intensity at this point, because you have to integrate over the surface, right. Integration what? E dot dA is the Gauss law, right. That tells it is equal to q enclosed divided by epsilon 0, that is the Gauss law, right. So, in order to apply this integration, this is a must. The surface must be symmetric, otherwise you cannot integrate it. That is why you have to consider the symmetric surface, either sphere or cylinder or plane, in order to make that integration easy, right. So, in that way you are calculating the intensity at this point or anywhere. You take a point is here, anywhere, you just imagine a Gaussian surface around that point charge, right. You know amount of charge enclosed within the surface is q, then divide by epsilon 0, then integrate it over the surface. So, what will be this integration now? It is just E times area is 4 pi r square, right. If you integrate, ultimately you are getting the same thing, magnitude of the electric field intensity at that point multiplied by the total area of the sphere, that must be equal to q enclosed here is q divided by epsilon 0, then find out your this E. What is this E? It is q divided by epsilon 0 4 pi r square magnitude. Obviously, the direction is along the radius goes outward if it is positive charge. So, if you want in terms of vector form, you can write this E is nothing but equal to q divided by 4 pi epsilon 0, then r square r cap. R cap here is the unit vector away from the center because of positive charge, if negative towards the center, right. So, in that way you can find out the electric field intensity at a point with the help of Gauss law, right. So, similarly, I told you to calculate for cylinder and plane, they are also symmetric, right. So, have you tried them? How to get the intensity, and in which case you will consider the cylindrical surface, Gaussian surface, and in which case you will consider the plane Gaussian surface, because Gaussian surface is the important thing to note, otherwise you cannot apply the Gauss law, right. So, then how to get for a cylindrical Gaussian surface and where, when, under what circumstance you can go for such kind of Gaussian surface, not like here. Here it is point charge, so you have to go for a spherical, and under what circumstance you should have to go for a cylindrical Gaussian surface and again for plane Gaussian surface. What is the condition for that?
There is a uniformly charged sheet and we are calculating intensity at a particular point, we have to take a cylinder.
If there is a charge sheet uniform distribution, then in that case you should have to go for plane Gaussian surface around, you take in this side as well as this side, just sandwich, one in this direction, another in this direction. So, this is the charge container, plane sheet with surface charge density sigma, right. But if it is linear, then it is rho, sorry, lambda, not rho, linear charge distribution, right. Then only you can think about cylindrical. You imagine a Gaussian surface, just take a cylinder, then find out the intensity at a point here P, right. Wherever the point P may be, accordingly you have to construct an imaginary Gaussian surface passing through that point with respect to that kind of linear charge distribution. So, if there is linear charge distribution, you have to go for cylindrical. If there is surface charge distribution, you have to think about plane Gaussian surface, right. These are the symmetries you have to think over, and if it is point charge, obviously it is spherical. So, depending on the nature of charge distribution, you have to think what kind of Gaussian surface will help you. Here you cannot apply cylindrical or plane, here you cannot apply cylindrical or sphere, here you cannot apply plane or spherical, right. Then now come to this cylindrical surface, what to do, how to get the intensity at this point P shown here in this diagram. How will you get intensity at that point P if there is linear charge distribution of lambda, and let the length of this cylinder is L and its radius is S. That Gaussian surface must have some length and radius, let that be L and S respectively. Then how to calculate the intensity at that point P? Try it here, even if you have not done it, try it here and do. You know the technique how to do. S, radius is S. As per book notation I am telling, that is why there will not be any confusion when you are reading the book. Lambda by 2. Lambda will appear or not? Whether lambda will be there in the final formula or not? How you are getting the charge enclosed? How much charge will be enclosed here, you tell? In linear charge distribution, this q is proportional to length or equal to length. Do you follow what I am telling? Yes. So, there should be a proportional constant, you forget that. There should be a constant, otherwise you are dimensionally wrong. Charge can never be equal to length, right. Unit dimension, be careful. This is charge, that is length. How they will be equal? It is proportional. So, q is equal to a constant times length, otherwise you are wrong. Then calculate this q enclosure first. What is the q enclosure? How will you get that? Rho d tau, right. Yes, lambda, right. This same amount of charge will enclose within a volume or different. If I will tell volume, is there any problem? If I will tell you it is not linear charge distribution, let that be volume charge distribution, means whole charge is within the cylinder. Here in linear it is lambda, if the axis is the charge carrier, right. If the axis is the charge carrier, then it will be lambda and radius is S, but that point is included, point P, right. Then now calculate first what is the enclosed charge. Which coordinate system you are considering? Is it Cartesian or cylindrical? It must be cylindrical, right, cannot be Cartesian. So, in that angle also you have to see, it is not Cartesian, rather it is cylindrical, curvilinear. Of course, the Gauss law remains same, that is E dot dA equal to q enclosed divided by epsilon 0, but how to calculate this is important. Q enclosed, quantity of charge enclosed within that Gaussian surface. Let us think it is the smallest. What is the problem? Means you are telling the radius is, let us say, s dash, then it is smaller, close to the axis, right. If it is close to the axis, then it will be s dash, which is less than s. It is smaller or not? Even if it is that, how will you get the charge enclosed? How to get that? You are right. You can think in that way. You just go take it as, let us say, volume charge density. I am telling. Then rho d tau. Then how will you get this rho? What will be your rho? Let us say k s prime. It depends only on the radius or not? Not length, but radius. So, the charge density can be expressed in that way, right. It is volume, but the charge contained within that volume will be rho times this, and rho will be given by k times s prime, right. Then now you tell what is this d tau, that small elementary volume of that cylinder in cylindrical coordinates. Of course, it should be cylindrical coordinate, right. Then what that volume will be? How much? It is s prime, ds prime, then d phi and dz, d tau, right. Go back to cylindrical or curvilinear coordinates and check it. D tau will be that much, where your phi is changing from 0 to 2 pi, then dz is from where to where? Z is changing from 0 to L, right. If the length of the cylinder is L, then with this you integrate this first to get your q enclosed. You will get q enclosed is how much? Ultimately, how much you will get? It is twice pi k times L integration 0 to that radius, then s prime d s prime, right. So, it is integrated over that surface. So, then it will be again twice pi k L and s cube, that will be q enclosed, right. There is no density here, may it be linear or volume, but you are considering with volume, right. Length is automatically coming into picture. So, this is the value of your q enclosed, this one. You substitute and then calculate. This is q enclosed. Sorry, it is not 2, rather it is 2 by 3 pi k L s cube. So, q enclosed will be 2 by 3 pi k L s cube. S is the radius and L is the length. Then apply Gauss law, estimate the electric field intensity at that point. This q enclosure is important, how to calculate. Then you go for the Gauss law and find an electric field intensity at that point P having radius s from the axis or the charge distribution. How much it will be? How much you will get this side, left hand side integration? It will be integration of dA will be how much? Twice pi s L or not? Area, whole area of the cylinder is how much? Twice pi s L, right, and that is equal to, substitute the value, 2 by 3 pi k L s cube, then divide by epsilon 0, then find the intensity. So, this 2 will cancel, pi will cancel, 1 s will cancel, it will be 2, then L will cancel, right. So, where is that density? Is it there? Neither volume nor surface nor linear, no density, right. So, now what will be your E now? This E magnitude is equal to how much? 2 k s square divided by epsilon 0 or wrong? 3 is there, right, 2 is not there, right. So, it is 1 by 3 epsilon 0, yes, k L square or s square, yes, L cancels, right, s square, right. Then this is the value for electric field intensity at that point. So, it depends only on what? The intensity only depends on the radius, right, at what distance that point is from the charge distribution, other things are all constant or not. So, it only depends on this value. A is constant, epsilon 0 is constant, right. So, now you know the intensity magnitude, but what about the direction? One more thing, if you are considering this cylinder is the Gaussian surface, is it having only curved surface or it is having also two sides? Obviously, it is there, it should be closed, otherwise it cannot be closed, right. So, if you take here the positive charge distribution, E will be in this direction, in this direction. What will be in this direction? Automatically 0. Therefore, these two will cancel, these two area, because the field is perpendicular to these areas. So, automatically they cancel out, no contribution for these two areas, right, because you have to find out the electric field intensity associated with the whole enclosure, right. Cylinder is having three surfaces, curved and two circles, two sides, and they will cancel out each other, because the direction of the field is here in this direction, this angle is 90. So, no field is associated with that area, right. Therefore, the contribution for these two areas are cancel out 0 0 each, only due to curvilinear surface or curved surface it is coming, and that is why you are calculating that way. Total, you should have to think about the area enclosed. When you are telling a cylinder, the area enclosure is not the only curved surface, it has two sides which are circular, right. So, the field if associated with that, then also you have to take care of it, but here it is not, because they are perpendicular to the field direction, right, because if it is positive charge, field is in what direction? This direction and this direction, right, field is in these two directions which are perpendicular. So, it is perpendicular means it associates only curved surface, but not these two circles in the two ends. So, this area what I write here is only for the curved surface, not for the circle, right. So, therefore, now the electric field intensity magnitude E is equal to K S square divided by 3 epsilon 0, right. Then what about the direction? Intensity is a vector. If you are telling at this point P, then what should be the direction of the intensity? Intensity magnitude is this much, right, this is a magnitude. Direction is obviously you should have to put a arrow mark escape radial outward, in that direction it will go out or not. If positive charge, it should go radially outward at that point, that is why it is the unit vector. So, this is in vector form telling both magnitude and direction, right. So, now you extend your idea what will happen if the length of the cylinder is extremely large, infinitesimally large, does it affect the relation or remain as it is? The Gaussian surface length is extremely large, what will happen? Or it has utility with you or not first. If you take extremely large cylinder Gaussian surface, to find out the same electric field intensity at that point P, then is there any extra benefit that you will get or no? Otherwise, why should you think about it, right? First thing, whether you are getting an extra benefit out of that or not, if you consider an infinitesimally long cylinder. No, first come to one point, radius is same, but length is infinitesimally long. Find some benefit, what that benefit is, whether the Q enclosure will different, then what benefit you will get? How and why? There should be a Gaussian surface, you have to integrate it, otherwise no way out.
A small portion is enclosed.
Hmm.
Then we can consider the portion right to that and left to that.
Hmm.
Will cancel the here.
Which will cancel? These two sides may cancel, but what about the curvature? They will never cancel. These two sides may cancel, all the time cancels, may it be long cylinder or small cylinder, right, because it has no relation with length, this formula tells, right, it has no relation at all with length, but it has relation with radii. Now think, if you will go to the infinite distance from the axis what will happen then? Let this point is going to infinitesimally large distance, then accordingly you have to imagine a cylinder or not, then it has effect, right, then you will get benefit, then what benefit you will get there?
It will act as a point. It will act as a point.
Yes, then this distribution will just like a point charge distribution, and you will get the same thing if you calculate and check, the same result you will get as it is a point charge, right. If it is infinitesimally large distance, then automatically that small charge distribution in the cylinder will treat it to be a point charge distribution, and you should get the same result, and you will get it, try to get it, that benefit you will get, right. So, now what will happen if you go to a very long distance, what will happen to this S here, this thing S square, think about it, infinite square is also infinite or something else. If S is infinite, what will be infinite square? Again infinite, right. So, ultimately if it is increasing to infinite, then the intensity accordingly will go to higher value or lower value? Lower value, right. And you know it, when there is a point charge, you are going to a long distance away from that, then the intensity there will be less or more? Less, right. But you should not think that it is infinite, infinite has no meaning, right. Infinite means long distance, take it in that way, infinite has no meaning at all, right. Infinite means it is extremely large distance, but not infinite, right. Infinite has no meaning, there should be some distance and it cannot be infinite, whatever may be the distance, however large it may be, but it cannot be infinite. So, under that circumstance you will see that the intensity there will reduce, whatever you are getting for the point charge, right. So, when you go away from that, it is reducing, but if you extend the length infinitely, it has no meaning, right. It has no meaning, it only depends on the radius, that formula tells. Huh? K, you first tell what is the dimension of K, you will get everything there, unit is there, dimension is there. Tell me the dimension in unit, what will be the dimension of K? There is unit, you are telling the unit dimension. If Q is proportional to length, right, in linear charge distribution or volume in volume charge distribution, right, but ultimately depending on the distribution of charge you should write it, the value of K will be different, right. When you are going for volume, K is different, when surface different, for linear again different. You know the reason why, because the dimensions are different, right. If you take linear, then what will happen, this Q is proportional to length, but if you take surface, it is proportional to area, but if you take the volume, it is proportional to the volume, right. So, accordingly K value will be different, whether you are getting the linear or surface or volume. So, obviously it tells that if K is equal to KL, right, then what is the dimension of K here? K will be equal to how much? Q times L, right, Q times L, dimension of Q and dimension of L, unit of Q and unit of L is the unit of K, right. So, it is coulomb per meter, unit of K. Similarly, dimension Q by L, right, Q by L. So, this K value, that is why K value is different for different charge distribution, but if you take area, then it is Q by area, right. If you take volume by volume, accordingly unit is different, right. Q by meter square for area, sorry, coulomb by, and coulomb by meter cube if volume, but if linear, coulomb by meter, right. So, that K is not all the time constant, depends on the distribution, what kind of distribution is there, whether it is linear or surface or volume.
Why rho is equal to K S dash?
Rho equal to
K S dash.
where?
That's the integration part.
Integration, this one?
Rho d tau is equal to integration of K S dash.
K?
S dash.
Huh?
Why rho is
What that S dash is, first tell, what that S dash is, what is S and what is S dash? Is it same as you are thinking? No, elementary surface with radius s dash, but k value is same or different, so long as it is linear distribution or volume distribution or surface distribution, same, but that area is radius s or s prime, s prime, that is why it is written s prime, not s, right, it is different than s. So, this is the field intensity at a point due to linear charge distribution with cylindrical symmetry Gaussian surface, right, and similarly you try for plane surface charge distribution, right. If there is surface charge distribution, you take a plane surface with uniform surface charge distribution sigma, then how to get it? Then what we have to imagine here, Gaussian surface is of what shape first? Let us say you are taking a surface like this, plane surface, where the charge is distributed, then you have to imagine a Gaussian surface around it, right. Let us say the point is here P, you have to get the intensity at that point, then what should be the surface, Gaussian surface, which must be symmetric with respect to charge distribution, otherwise it is not a Gaussian surface. So, what should be the Gaussian surface? If suppose for example, let us say I will take another area, pill box, you imagine a pill box means like this, sandwich type, it is plane, but including that point where you want to get the intensity, but it is extended till that surface, not only that point, this one, this is called as pill box, it is just like a box within which the charge is there, right. In that box charge is there, which is having surface charge distribution, plane, right. Then how to get the intensity? Let this area is A, plane is having area A, then what is the intensity? If you want to get the intensity here, obviously the intensity is going in this direction if it is positive charge, or in this direction, right. So, accordingly let P, if it is positive charge, right, positive charge means away in that direction or this direction. Then now tell how much charge is enclosed, first you calculate, same you apply the Gauss law, obviously Gauss law tells it is this, which is equal to q enclosed divided by epsilon 0, right, same thing. But how to get this q enclosed from the pill box? What will be q enclosed? Q enclosed will be equal to how much? Obviously, it is nothing but equal to same charge, it is there only on the surface, right. How much charge is enclosed in that pill box? Sigma into area, because sigma is the surface charge density, right. Only that much amount of charge will be there in the surface, not more than that or not less than that. So, the charge enclosed within the pill box will be sigma times the area of that charge distribution, right. So, this is your q enclosed. Now, you go to the geometry and find out this integration, what will be that integration? Otherwise, how will you get the intensity E? You need to calculate the intensity at that point P, calculate how much it will be. And first tell me whether this integration will leads to how much value, because you see this side is having some area, this side is also having some area, and both way the lines of forces are going. So, you should have to consider both the area or only one area, only this one. Could you follow me what I am telling? Then it is not enclosed, both, otherwise it is not enclosed, right. It should be enclosing, means closed, otherwise Gauss law cannot be applied. So, you should have to consider both the areas, right. So, ultimately this integration will lead to twice A times E bar, am I right? Why this twice A? Area above and below, right. Area contribution must be both that way and this way, but sides are nullified, right. You know the reason why. Side area has no contribution, but these two area has contribution, that is why it is twice, right. So, now integration is known, value of q enclosed is known, calculate the intensity, how much it will be. So, this E will be equal to how much magnitude if calculate, then A will be there or cancel, obviously it will cancel, right, but density is there, surface charge density will be there, and it is sigma divided by this, right, only this much. Oh yes, here is 2, right. Then direction, what is the direction of intensity at that point? You know the magnitude, right. Direction will be along what? N cap, n cap is the unit vector along what direction? This direction, that direction, E direction, right, away from the surface, that indicates it is away, either this or that, wherever the point will be. If the point is down, that direction, if the point is up, that direction, but it is always away, right. So, in that way Gauss law helps to calculate the electric field intensity at a point by considering the symmetric Gaussian surfaces, right. You can try in your book, there are many problems in book with cylindrical, spherical, planar, right, how to calculate the intensity at a point due to that kind of charge distribution, applying Gauss law again, right. Gauss divergence theorem you have to apply to calculate the electric field intensity due to these 3 types of symmetric charge distribution. Means the surface must be symmetric, otherwise Gauss law can never be applied. The Gaussian surface cannot be any one, it must be symmetrical, right. Symmetrical means either it is spherical or it is cylindrical or it is plane. So, you try to solve the problems that is in the page number 93, note it down, problems in page 93 of your book. So, this is about the divergence of the electric field E, right. Gauss law is basically tells about the divergence of an electric field, right. You know divergence of vector field, now it is electric field, right. Now, similarly come to the curl of a vector field E, divergence of vector field you know, right. Similarly, curl of the vector field, that is electric field intensity, what will happen there, and what is the meaning of curl and how it helps in physics, particularly in electricity. What is the value of the intensity in general, you know, E, how can you write with respect to charge q, it will be how much, 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q times q by r square into r cap or not. This is the electric field intensity, tells both magnitude and direction, right. Then now if you go for spherical polar coordinate, you should have to go, you cannot do it in Cartesian coordinates, right. Then in that circumstance, what you have to calculate actually, you have to, let us say you are going from point A to point B. Point A means there are 2 points in the field, one is at A, another is at B. Then what will be the line integration? E dot dl, right. So, this will be how much then spherical polar coordinate, what will be dl you tell in spherical polar coordinate, what is the dl? R theta phi, I told you that spherical or cylindrical curvilinear coordinates r theta phi, what will be the dl in spherical polar coordinates, how much it will be? It is dr r cap plus r d theta theta cap plus r sin theta d phi phi cap, right. The value of the dl in spherical polar coordinate will be this much in terms of r theta phi, right. Of course, it is vector naturally, right. Then now you integrate it from A to B, A and B are 2 points, let us say I am just telling the diagram, it goes like this, let the charge is at the origin, this is x direction, this is z direction, this is x, this is y, whatever you can take 3 directions, but here is the charge q at the origin, right, charge is at that origin. And then if you take a point here as A connected by the radius vector r a and another point B here connected by the radius vector r b, right, then let the path goes in that way, you are reaching here, then you have to go for line integration or not, that is why it is spherical polar coordinate, otherwise you cannot do, right. It is spherical polar coordinate, otherwise you cannot do that kind of integration. in between point A to B in 3-dimensional space, right. Then how to integrate this from A to B? What will you get? Ultimately it will tell you 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, then integration from where to where? A to B, q divided by r square dr, and ultimately it is 1 by minus 1 by 4 epsilon 0, then r A to r B, then q by r. Am I right? Sorry, this is actually not line, limit, not integration, right, not integration, limit r A r B. Then ultimately that will give you how much? It is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 q divided by r A minus q divided by r B, right. So, now this is the value of what? This E, sorry, integration, right. Integration is that much or not? Line integration. And when it is closed path, what will you do? It is open path A to B, right. It is open path now, it is not closed path. But when it is open, sorry, closed, then what will happen? A will be B or B will be A, then only it is closed or not. If A is same thing as B or B is same thing as A, then only you can think that it is closed, otherwise not, right. That means R A must be equal to R B or not. If R A equal to R B, then only you can tell the path is closed, otherwise not. Here it is open path when you are telling R A R B, right. Then what is the integration now for a closed path? E dot d l, you know it is all the time 0, right. For any closed path, the line integration vanishes, right. Then what will happen here? If R, you will take R B equal to R A, then ultimately what will happen here? This is also R A, you see how much it is, 0 or not? Q by R A minus Q by R A, how much it is? Obviously it is 0, that is why it is vanishing, right. For any closed path, it will vanish, because R A equal to R B, if you put it here, then automatically that tells that is 0. So, for any closed path, that line integration must vanish if that field is expressed as the gradient of a scalar function. Again, that is very important, right. E is the gradient of potential, you know it. Under that circumstance, the line integration for closed path will be 0, it will vanish, and it is vanishing, we have verified, right. Then, so now what will happen if you go for, then now tell what will be the curl of that kind of field, you know now the field, right. Then what will be curl of that kind of field? Del cross E, that is the curl, right. For such field, the line integration over any closed path vanishes, right, and you take that field and find out the curl of that kind of field E, then what will you get? Of this you tell whether it is there or vanish first, whether del or curl of that kind of field will vanish or has some value. You go back to the Stokes theorem, right, surface volume integration, do that mathematics, finally it will tell you it will nothing but a 0 vector, right, by Stokes theorem. If you apply the Stokes theorem, that will lead to tell curl of that kind of vector field is a null vector, right. Then if it is a null vector, what it indicates? If it is a null vector, what that will indicate physically? Is there any rotation or not? No, but if it is finite, yes, right. If that is a finite vector, definitely rotation is there, but if not, or if it is 0 vector, then there is no rotation at all of that kind of field, that I told in curl, physical significance of curl of a vector field. It also it is same thing, right. So, that depends whether it is a 0 vector or non-zero vector. If 0, no rotation or non-rotational field, you can tell that kind of field is called as non-rotational field, but if it is non-zero vector, it is rotational field, right. Two kinds of fields are there, one is rotational, other is non-rotational. If rotational field, it must not be 0 vector, but if it is 0 vector, then it is irrotational or no rotational field. So, the field will be identified by the curl of that kind of field. Curl will be either null vector or finite vector, right. If finite vector, rotational, if 0 vector non rotational, right. That is the behavior of the curl of a vector field, that will tell what kind of field it is. Then, so now you see, if you are taking a group of charge, then what will you do? How will you do that? No doubt it will vanish, right. The curl of that vector will, if null vector, then it will vanish, but if there is a group of charges, then what will you get? E will be equal to how much? E1 plus E2 plus E3, like that it will go, as many as charges are there, intensity will be accordingly added up, right. Then if you go for this curl, then what will you get? Obviously it is curl of E1, then plus curl of E2, then plus and so on, or ultimately it is how much? 0 vector. That is for a group of charge distribution. Calculate individually, then apply the summation rule, algebraic sum, right. For different charge, different field, accordingly find out the curl of that field, but ultimately it will vanish to 0 vector if it is irrotational, yes, irrotational, right. So, that is about the curl of the operation. Next time we will read about the electric potential.